There was a great rabbi called Rabbi Yaakov Emdin. He was the son of the Chacham Tzvi Ashkenazi. He wrote in his Sidur Bet Yaakov, he writes that to his understanding, to the best of his understanding, it seems to be that the greatest sin we have in our generation, which is stopping the rebuilding of the Bet HaMikdash, is that we're not mourning enough. We're not feeling the loss of the Bet HaMikdash, of the sanctuary, enough to do Avelut for, and that's an obstacle to the reconstruction of the Bet HaMikdash. If we will help rectifying that and focusing more on the idea of Tish'a Be'Av, we will speedily cause the reconstruction of the Bet HaMikdash. So here we have a prescription how to do so. So let us first understand what happened on the day of Tish'a Be'Av. Now when I say the number 9th of Av, some began already on the 7th, on the 10th of Av, but it was approximately on the 9th of Av this took place. The Talmud says 5 things happened to the Jewish people on the 9th of Av. The first one was when the Jewish people sent spies to Eretz Israel upon Moshe's command and upon the wish of the Jewish people and the agreement of God, Hashem. They came back and they gave the message, the wrong message to the Jewish people. And instead of encouraging the Jewish people, it caused the Jewish people to lower their emunah, the trust in Hashem, and they began crying. And for that, Hashem turned it into until the reconstruction of the Bet HaMikdash, as an evening, as a day, the 9th of Av should be fixed as a day of mourning, as a day of crying, until the future third Bet HaMikdash will be rebuilt, which I'll discuss that soon. Second thing which happened on the 9th of Av is the destruction of the first Bet HaMikdash. In our sources, it says that the Babylonians came into the sanctuary on the 7th of the Av and they desecrated the Bet HaMikdash until eventually on the 9th in the afternoon, they started burning the Bet HaMikdash. And it says the majority of the Hechal was burnt on the 10th of Av. The second Bet HaMikdash, according to a lot of sources, took place all on the 9th of Av, the burning of the Bet HaMikdash. So this is the third. The spies coming back, 2 Bate Mikdashot, first Bet HaMikdash, second Bet HaMikdash. The third thing, after the destruction of the Bet HaMikdash, there was a massive, big city. Based on to the Gemara, there were millions living in that city, which was called Beitar. And it was destroyed on Tish'a Be'Av. It is a very unfortunate event where many Jewish people lost their lives. Nilkeda Betar. The fourth thing is, Nechresha Yerushalayim. That means they were not just satisfied in destroying the sanctuary, they actually Tzion Sadeh Techaresh. They turned the place of the sanctuary into a plowed field completely. I mean, they brought it to the ground completely. So these 5 tragedies took place on Tish'a Be'Av. I'll try and focus on the first one as an opening to Tish'a Be'Av, which is when the spies came back. Bechiyah shel chinam. They cried, the Jewish people cried, an unnecessary cry. And that's why Hashem fixed it as a day where if the Jewish people are worthy of tragedies, should come on that day. And really this was for generations to come. According to a lot of sources, the expulsion from Spain took place on Tish'a Be'Av. 2nd of August, they fell on Tish'a Be'Av. The Jewish people were expelled from Spain. Apparently the First World War, which afterwards continued to the Second World War, also broke out on Tish'a Be'Av. I'm not so fluent in the sources to this, but so they say. So many tragedies. If a tragedy was decreed upon the Jewish people, it ended up on Tish'a Be'Av. It actually brought about a lot of belief and faith to the Jewish people. when the Jewish people were actually expelled on the day of Tish'a Be'Av from Spain, there was big Chacham said that had the king of Spain and all those who planned to expel the Jewish people, they wouldn't have chosen the Tish'a Be'Av day, because that in itself caused the Jewish people to actually strengthen their belief in God and understand that this is the decree from Shamayim. Let's focus on the Bechiyah Shel Chinam of the Meraglim. They came back and the Jewish people cried for nothing. What does that mean? Crying usually is an expression from something internal. If you cry, it's hard to... there are some individuals who are able to bring out tears in no time. But generally, people who cry, it's an expression of something which is going on internally in a person. That's what a Bechiyah. You cry Bechiyah Shel Chinam. You must be that internally you're lacking faith in me, says Hashem. You've got an element of, you've removed the divine presence from within yourselves. And that's why you're given room for a kind of a cry to know you're helpless. That's not a good situation. We have to believe that the reason why the Bet HaMikdash was destroyed, it was an outcome of removal of God's presence from within each individual. When a community, when many individuals remove the presence of Hashem from within their hearts, eventually that causes no necessity for the sanctuary. Sanctuary is an expression when the Jewish people are full-hearted with Hashem. Then Hashem says, build me a sanctuary. Otherwise, what's the use? If from within you removed the divine presence, you've got lack of bitachon and emunah, then automatically is no. Now, if we're still suffering from having no sanctuary, it's a sign that we also removed from feeling God's presence from within us. So therefore, our work on Tish'a Be'Av should be to try and make room for Hashem inside us, make room for the divine presence within us. So we are given all kinds of help, which the rabbis have done on this day, for us to focus more about the sanctuary, about things which we have missing, about the divine presence from within, in order that eventually we should focus on ourselves and try and make room for Hashem to come back in our hearts. And if we will do that, and we will do that as a community, we'll do that as Klal Yisrael, then HaKadosh Baruch Hu will speedily make sure that the reconstruction of the Bet HaMikdash will come.